Martin Scorsese's film The Wolf of Wall Street tells the real-life story of Jordan Belfort. Leonardo DiCaprio plays the former stockbroker who ran a so-called pump-and-dump operation in the 1980s. Terence Winter's screenplay earned one of the movie's 5 Oscar nominations.
You made $72 grand in 1 month.
Yeah.
I tell you what. You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now and I work for you. Hey, Paulie, what's up? No, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
Terence Winter, welcome.
Scene.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
So tell me how you feel about Jordan Belfort as a character that you created based on his real-life story.
Yeah, well, I met Jordan in 2007, right after I signed on to write the screenplay, and I found him immediately enormously likable, charming, obviously incredibly smart, one of the most gifted public speakers I've ever met. Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously, this is a guy who is incredibly persuasive to people. So I picked up on that right away. For me, personally, I had a lot of similarities with Jordan. I grew up in Brooklyn. He grew up in Queens. We're more or less the same age, both ambitious. We both worked on Wall Street.
Did you do drugs and prostitutes?
No, that's where we sort of diverged a little bit.
Because he was such a decadent guy.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what was relatable to him? His ambition and desire for wealth?
His childhood. Yeah, absolutely. I totally understood that desire to grow up and be something and make a lot of money. Obviously we had divergent paths, but I actually was working for Merrill Lynch during the 80s. I was on the trading floor at Merrill Lynch on the day the stock market crashed in '87. He was a quarter mile away. I went to LA to be a writer. He went to Long Island to sell penny stocks.
Jordan, the writing, the directing, the stars are incredible, but can you address the criticism that you glorified this really bad guy, essentially?
Sure.
And there's a lot of sex and a lot of drugs in this film in kind of a really dirty way.
And a lot of people were hurt.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Lost unfortunately.
yeah, lots of fortune.
Well, it was not my job as a writer to take a position on Jordan. My job, I felt, was to tell the story honestly and to let people take away from it what they will. Very much by design.
He really had parties where there were prostitutes and naked ladies running through the office?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's what you see on screen is a very accurate depiction of what went on. Even, in some conversations with Jordan, he's told me we didn't even go far enough. It was that crazy. Again, though, it was, in terms of glorifying, I mean, I don't know that anybody needs me to tell you that that's bad behavior. Yeah. We were telling this story honestly, and very much by design, not showing the people on the other ends of those telephones. We wanted you to be sold Jordan's story by Jordan. I mean, he starts off the movie listing the drugs he takes. This is the most unreliable narrator in history, perhaps, and then tells you or sells you his story by the end of it, and you're going along for this ride, and it's funny or it's amusing, and by the end of it, when it turns dark, you realize, oh, wow, I've actually been sold a bill of goods by this guy. You are essentially one of those people. So that was sort of the stylistic choice.
In the end, and today, he's a salesman.
Absolutely.
That was what he did.
Right.
Leonardo DiCaprio told me that the hardest thing for him to get were the speeches.
Yeah.
From an acting standpoint.
Yeah, there were some 4 or 5 page monologues that were just incredibly dense and just roller coaster rides of power and emotion. And those, I think, for anybody, I mean, they're hard to write. I can't imagine having to stand up in front of a room full of 300 people and perform it over and over and over again. Actually, during the research, that was the one thing I had missed. Unfortunately, Jordan had never taped any of those things. So I asked him, I said, if you would come in, if I could fill a conference room at CAA, the talent agency, up with assistants and salespeople, would you come in and recreate one of those speeches for me? And he did.
Was he good?
He was unbelievable.
Yeah, and
it took him about a minute to warm up, and then he became the guy you see in the movie.
And then we get to see the real Jordan. He makes a cameo in the movie.
Yes,
but listen, you're up for an Oscar. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fingers crossed for you.
Thanks.
And everybody who's nominated, of course, wants to win.
Sure.
But I'm thinking you're working with Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio, that even if you don't win,
I've already
isn't it kind
won.
of a win?
And Jonah Hill.
And Jonah Hill. Jonah, you're right, Charlie, was awesome.
I've already won.
What
the
that
idea
means to you?
It's more meaningful to me, and it's almost it's crazy to even to be able to say this out loud. Martin Scorsese is truly the reason I got into this business in the first place. When I saw Taxi Driver in 1976 as a 15-year-old, absolutely it was the thing that got me interested in cinema. Up until that point, I was a fan of movies, but this one, I didn't know what to make of it, and it got me interested. So to flash forward 30-some-odd years to now, I'm nominated for an Academy Award for writing a Martin Scorsese movie. I'm waiting for the alarm clock to go off, and it's still 1977, and I'm working in a deli somewhere.
And Martin knows your number. And
yeah,
you know
he does.
it is.
And I get to call him Marty.
That's nice.
Terence Winter, good to see you.
Thank you so much.